Have you ever considered that something as simple as cooking eggs the wrong way could silently sabotage your health over the years? Eggs are praised worldwide for their rich protein, essential vitamins, and heart-boosting nutrients. But for seniors and those who cherish elderly wisdom, the real danger lies not in the eggs themselves, but in the mistakes made during preparation and storage. Small errors can turn this nutritional powerhouse into a slow threat to your heart, brain, and digestion without you even realizing it. Especially for the elderly, where every meal becomes a critical reflection of life lessons learned through decades. These overlooked mistakes can speed up inflammation, chronic illness, and even hospital visits. Imagine thinking you're nourishing yourself daily, only to be unknowingly planting seeds of long-term damage. That's why today's deep dive is absolutely vital for senior health, and for anyone who values true inspiration drawn from life lessons from the elderly. If you care about motivation, quotes of resilience, and ensuring your golden years reflect health and dignity, then make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected with more insights from elderly reflections and elderly wisdom. Your support allows us to continue spreading meaningful life lessons that inspire generations. Now let's uncover the hidden dangers, starting with the first two critical mistakes. Mistake 1: overcooking eggs. A silent destroyer of nutrients and a hidden trigger of inflammation. One of the most common but underestimated mistakes is overcooking eggs. It may seem harmless to fry eggs until crispy, or boil them until the yolk turns grayish-green, but what's really happening inside that pan could be silently undermining your senior health. Overheating eggs causes a process known as oxidation, especially targeting cholesterol within the yolk. Oxidized cholesterol has been strongly linked to increased inflammation and higher risks of heart disease, a devastating outcome for seniors who are already battling age vulnerabilities. The visual cues are there if you know where to look. A strong sulfur smell after boiling, a rubbery texture, a discolored yolk. These aren't just culinary accidents. They are biochemical warnings that nutrients such as vitamin B12, folate, lutein, and zeaxanthin, critical for brain and eye health, are being destroyed. Take Ronald, a 77-year-old former school principal. For years he believed that frying eggs until they were golden brown made them more delicious. What he didn't realize was that each breakfast was fueling his chronic heartburn and silent digestive issues. After switching to soft scrambled eggs cooked gently over low heat, Ronald noticed a significant reduction in bloating, acid reflux, and an unexpected boost in daily energy. His story echoes a life lesson from the elderly. Sometimes what feels familiar isn't always what's best for longevity. Cooking at moderate temperatures, through light boiling, poaching, or gentle scrambling, preserves egg integrity. It protects the vital compounds that support senior health and promotes anti-inflammatory responses throughout the body. Even when frying, using low heat and avoiding browning is a small act of elderly wisdom that can safeguard decades of good health. Remember, in the world of senior reflections, every small daily habit accumulates into either resilience or regret. Mistake 1: eating raw or undercooked eggs. Gambling with invisible threats. There's a persistent myth floating around wellness circles suggesting that raw eggs are the ultimate form of nutrition, but this advice can be dangerously misleading, especially when viewed through the lens of senior health. While raw eggs do retain more intact nutrients, they also harbor a hidden and potentially deadly threat: Salmonella bacteria. For seniors whose immune systems have naturally weakened with age, this mistake isn't just risky, it can be life-threatening. What may manifest as mild stomach cramps in a younger person could escalate into severe dehydration, hospitalization, or worse for an elderly individual. Consider the experience of Dorothy, a vibrant 69-year-old who loved starting her mornings with a smoothie fortified with raw eggs. For years, it seemed like a healthy habit. That was until a bout of severe stomach pain sent her rushing to the hospital, where she was diagnosed with salmonella poisoning. She had unknowingly jeopardized her senior health by trusting raw eggs, even those labeled organic and free-range. But the risks don't end at bacteria. Raw eggs contain avidin, a protein that binds to biotin, an essential B vitamin, critical for nerve function, energy metabolism, and maintaining healthy skin and hair. Eating raw eggs over a long period can lead to a subtle yet devastating biotin deficiency, weakening the body's resilience when seniors need it most. Cooking eggs properly neutralizes avidin and unlocks the full nutrient profile without sacrificing safety. Scrambled, poached, or fully boiled eggs with firm whites and yolks are the safest routes, especially for senior citizens, focused on maintaining vitality and sharpness in their golden years. If you still crave that rich, runny yolk experience, pasteurized eggs offer a safer compromise. They significantly lower the risk of salmonella while preserving the culinary delight. Through motivation, quotes from generations past, and deep inspiration drawn from real-life stories, it becomes clear shortcuts in nutrition often cost more than they save. For those who honor the wisdom of elderly reflections, cooking eggs safely is not just a recommendation, it's a sacred duty to oneself. Mistake 3. Storing cooked eggs properly. A recipe for invisible illness. Storing cooked eggs might seem like an afterthought to many, but improper storage can swiftly turn a wholesome meal into a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria. For seniors whose immune resilience naturally diminishes with age, even a minor foodborne illness can trigger major health setbacks, something elderly reflections have warned about for generations. Eggs are remarkably sensitive to temperature fluctuations. When left at room temperature beyond 2 hours, especially in the infamous danger zone of 40 DGF to 140 DGF, 4 deg C to 60 DGF. Take the case of Jonathan, a 73-year-old retired engineer. Every Sunday he liked to prepare a week's worth of scrambled eggs, storing them in a loosely covered bowl in his refrigerator. At first it seemed like a practical, time-saving strategy. However, after several months, Jonathan began experiencing recurring stomach cramps and unexplained fatigue. Upon medical consultation, it was traced back to improperly stored eggs, where bacterial growth had steadily undermined his senior health. Jonathan's experience reminds us of a critical life lesson from the elderly. Small habits either fortify your future or erode it slowly without warning. To prevent these hidden risks, cooked eggs should be placed immediately into an airtight container and refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking. Hard-boiled eggs should be consumed within 7 days, while scrambled or fried eggs, ideally within 3 to 4 days. Moreover, avoiding cross-contamination is non-negotiable. Never store cooked eggs near raw meat, unwashed vegetables, or items prone to spoilage. Seniors aiming for maximum health inspiration can remember a simple mantra. When in doubt, throw it out. Reheating leftovers is another overlooked trap. Many seniors unknowingly reheat eggs in microwaves at high settings, causing uneven heating that encourages surviving bacteria to thrive. A gentler reheating method, on the stove over low heat, with a splash of water or broth, preserves both the texture and safety of your meal. When drawing from elderly wisdom and senior reflections, it's clear. Attention to food storage isn't just about hygiene. It's about preserving dignity, vitality, and peace of mind in one's later years. Mistake number 4. Using damaged or expired eggs. A quiet betrayal of trust. Imagine reaching for an egg, cracking it into a sizzling pan, only to unleash an unseen threat. Damaged or expired eggs are stealthy health hazards, particularly insidious for seniors who may already be navigating weakened defenses. And yet many still trust printed expiration dates blindly, unaware that the real danger often starts long before the date on the carton. Eggshells are nature's protective armor. Even a small, almost invisible crack compromises that defense, opening the door for bacteria to invade. Seniors need to recognize that even pristine-looking eggs can betray them if they've been mishandled along the way. From farm to factory to fridge, Helen, a 75-year-old retired school teacher, learned this lesson the hard way. She prided herself on choosing only the best organic groceries and had full faith in expiration labels. But one morning, cracking open an egg released an odd sulfuric odor. Against her better judgment, and motivated by not wanting to waste food, Helen cooked it anyway. Within hours, she was battling intense nausea and had to be hospitalized for food poisoning. Her story highlights an important quote often heard among elderly reflections. Trust, but verify. Seniors and their families must use additional safeguards beyond expiration dates. A simple water test works wonders. If the egg sinks and lays flat, it's fresh. If it stands upright, it's still usable but nearing expiration. If it floats, it must be discarded immediately. Handling practices are equally crucial. Storing eggs in the fridge door is a common error. Yet every time the fridge opens, the temperature fluctuates, weakening egg safety. Seniors seeking true senior health inspiration should store eggs deep within the coldest part of the fridge, where conditions are stable. Another overlooked hazard lies in condensation. If eggs warm up and moisture forms on the shell, bacteria can penetrate the pores more easily. This is why transferring store-bought eggs immediately into a consistent cold environment is critical. Beyond appearance and smell, seniors should also pay attention to discoloration after cracking an egg. Any off colors, such as pink, green, or iridescent sheens, are unmistakable red flags. Incorporating elderly wisdom teaches us that preserving health often comes down to respecting the small things. A crack, a smell, a floating egg, all simple signs that can spell the difference between wellness and weeks of recovery. For those inspired by the life lessons from the elderly, vigilance at the grocery store, in the kitchen, and at the table is not paranoia, it's profound self-respect. Mistake. Cooking eggs with unhealthy oils, turning superfoods into silent saboteurs. Eggs by themselves are nearly the perfect food, rich in high-quality protein, healthy fats, and critical nutrients that seniors need for maintaining brain sharpness, heart strength, and overall vitality. Yet one mistake, cooking them with the wrong oils, can quietly transform this health treasure into a source of inflammation and long-term decline. For many years, using margarine, vegetable oil, soybean oil, or canola oil was considered modern cooking. However, time and science, echoed in countless elderly reflections, have revealed a harsh truth. Many of these processed oils are unstable under heat, breaking down into harmful compounds like trans fats and oxidized lipids. Trans fats, in particular, are enemies of senior health. They interfere with cellular repair, accelerate aging, and heighten the risk of heart disease, arthritis, and even cognitive decline, conditions that already threaten seniors as part of the natural aging process. Let's reflect on the story of Walter, a lively 79-year-old who loved frying eggs every morning. He always used corn oil, believing it was a healthy choice because that's what he grew up seeing on TV commercials. But as years passed, Walter noticed creeping joint pain, mental fog, and sluggish digestion. After learning about the dangers of oxidized oils through a senior health seminar, astonishingly, within 2 months, Walter reported improved energy, better digestion, and a sharper memory. His journey speaks volumes about the wisdom hidden in life lessons from the elderly. Sometimes it's not what you eat, but how you prepare it that determines your future. Choosing oils with higher smoke points and more natural compositions is crucial for protecting senior health. Excellent choices include butter or ghee for traditional flavor, and stable fat molecules, extra virgin olive oil, rich in antioxidants, brain and heart protective. Coconut oil, great for gentle sautéing and loaded with anti-inflammatory benefits. Avocado oil, high smoke point, packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats. Each of these options resists breaking down under cooking temperatures. Typical for eggs, preserving the meal's health value and infusing it with flavor. Seniors seeking inspiration to stay vibrant should remember a golden quote, passed down through generations. Simple choices made daily shape the strength of tomorrow. By switching oils, you are making a silent, powerful investment into decades of graceful, energized living. Mistake number 6, ignoring proper handling of raw eggs. Setting the stage for hidden dangers. Most people assume that if they're not eating raw eggs directly, they're safe. But mishandling raw eggs, even briefly, can introduce dangerous bacteria into your kitchen, silently compromising senior health. Cross-contamination happens faster than you think. Cracking a raw egg, then touching a spice jar, wiping your hands on a towel, or adjusting your glasses, all can transfer microscopic traces of Salmonella or E. coli, which can survive on surfaces for hours. Imagine Betty, a thoughtful 72-year-old grandmother known for her delicious Sunday brunch. She was meticulous about cooking eggs fully, but had a blind spot. She often cracked raw eggs, then absent-mindedly continued preparing other ingredients without washing her hands thoroughly. One unfortunate brunch led to her entire family suffering from a severe bout of food poisoning. Betty included. The culprit: cross-contamination from eggshells to other foods. The story reflects a critical piece of elderly wisdom. It's the unseen dangers, not the obvious ones, that often cause the deepest harm. Proper handling is deceptively simple, but often overlooked. Always wash hands thoroughly with soap and water after handling raw eggs. Sanitize any surfaces or utensils that come into contact with raw egg. Avoid placing cooked foods on plates or surfaces that previously held raw. Consider using pasteurized eggs for recipes that traditionally involved undercooked eggs, like hollandaise sauce, mousse, or homemade mayonnaise. For seniors inspired by a motivation to stay active, resilient, and self-reliant deep into their 80s and beyond, mastering these small kitchen practices reflects the very heart of elderly reflections. Mindfulness in action. Raw eggs can be a stealthy adversary. Without proper handling, a seemingly harmless breakfast can lead to days or weeks of painful recovery, draining vitality precisely when seniors seek to cherish every day of health and inspiration. Final thoughts. Unlocking the power of eggs for lifelong health. Eggs are an incredible gift from nature, a true superfood packed with nutrients that seniors need for strong muscles, sharp minds, healthy eyes, and resilient hearts. But as we've uncovered, the benefit or harm lies not in the egg itself, but in the hands that prepare, cook, and store them. Through the elderly wisdom passed down from generations, we learn a powerful truth. Small actions, repeated daily, forge either strength or weakness over a lifetime. Cook eggs gently, protecting their nutrients. Avoid raw eggs unless properly pasteurized. Store cooked eggs correctly, in airtight conditions. Discard damaged or expired eggs without hesitation. Choose healthy oils that safeguard rather than sabotage. Handle raw eggs with deep respect for unseen dangers. By making these minor but essential adjustments, seniors can enjoy eggs as a life-enhancing gift. And as we reflect on the motivation drawn from elderly reflections and inspiration rooted in real-life lessons, one thing becomes clear: good health isn't an accident. It's the quiet result of wise decisions made every single day. Thank you for joining us today on this important journey. If you found these insights helpful and want to continue learning powerful strategies for senior health, longevity, and living with purpose, please like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected with our growing community of inspiration, motivation, and life lessons from the elderly. Together, let's honor the gift of life, one smart choice at a time,